Mantras. Mantra is the key to yoga in the deeper sense and to awakening a higher intelligence within us. Classical descriptions of mantra are grounded in the idea that this entire creation at the both manifest subtle levels, nearly endless combinations of infinite vibrations that scholars and mystics alike called the Matrika, the mother. The Sanskrit alphabet, whether it is Satyalok, the realm of the pure truth, at the top of the realms of the light, as we discussed in our session of the looks, the pure light, yeah, whether or the Patal Lok, right at the bottom, the lowest of the seven spaces. The composition of these loks and the beings of form that inhabit them are composed of various permutations and combinations of the Matrika. The Sanskrit alphabet Matrika is commonly referred as to she who binds, she who sets free. If we are unaware of the existence, power and operations of the Matrika, we are bound to the will of death and rebirth of samsara. But if we understand, even if only a little, the practice of the ancient spiritual formulas called mantras, we enter the realm of the one, she who sets us free. Mantra is often referred as to the divine name called Nam in Sanskrit. If one goes to any Hindu temple or approaches any priest and says questioningly, Nama eva, Nama eva, the response will be Kevalam, Kevalam. This exchange roughly translates the name alone sets one free, sets one free. The name, the understanding between the questioner and the responder is that the practice of Sanskrit mantra is the single most powerful spiritual practice for the current period of the spiritual winter called Kali Yuga. Even in the Navada Bhakti, they say one of the most foremost ways of transmigrating this Kali Yuga is via Nam Smaran. Ved claims speech is the essence of humanity. All of what humanity thinks ultimately becomes determined by the expression of ideas and actions through speech and its derivative, the writing. Everything comes into being through speech. Ideas remain unactualized until they are created through the power of speech. If we consider the other religions, the New Testament, the book of John also starts, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God Himself. The parallel for us is that if we wish to attain higher states of being, there are only two ways: our own effort or divine grace. Some spiritual leaders have suggested the first leads to the second. In the mainstream Vedic practices, most Buddhist techniques and classical Hinduism, mantra is viewed as a necessity for spiritual advancement and high attainment. Also, Dalai Lama and Jeffrey Hopkins of the Kal Chakra Tantra state, therefore, without depending upon mantra, Buddhahood cannot be attained. So it's a very powerful message. There is a reason why such wildly divergent sources of religious wisdom speak about the common ideas. A mantra is a word of power and light that comes from the overmind inspiration or from a very high plane of intuition. A mantra is inspired and intuitive and a rhythmic utterance. A revealed saying, it comes from the realization of some inmost truth of God. Wow. Is this the power of the mantra? Okay. Last week, we observed the six aspects of a mantra. Just going to touch over it. The seal, the melody, the deity, the seed, the power, and we take it on like the rishi, the rag, the devta, the bij, shakti, kilak. The four ways of mantra jap, as we discussed, Vaikhari, Upamsu, Mansik, and Likhit jap. Okay, this is, I think, where we were last time. And that is the choice of the mantra, extremely important, very, very important. Because the greatest success lies with the mantra to which you can best surrender. That is why it's so important to follow the mantra that suits your heart, not somebody else's. The exercise that we just had about the mantras, it was about your mantra, not what you were taught. What we were taught is one thing, but the mantra that the heart pulls towards, that is very, very important. If you to do a mantra sadhana or to achieve any spiritual success, then you have to go by the choice of the mantra where your heart is pulled. The practice, jap yoga, we have to use a mala. We did that. The mala consists of a string of 108 beads. We discussed that last time. Yeah. And the timing is also very crucial to get the benefit of the mantra. Set a definite period of time aside each day and make a written commitment to yourself to continue the practice for a sufficient length of time that you can feel its effect. 3 months is a good beginning. Begin small and build up. Now, this develops enthusiasm and perseverance to handle greater things. Do not be overambitious, letting the ego convince you that you will be able to sustain long periods of chanting immediately. No, it's not going to happen. Remember, a little seedling needs the greatest care and attention. Handle your spiritual growth with at least as much care as you would of a plant. The recommended time for mantra practice is 4 o'clock in the morning, because at that hour, it's called basically around that time we have Brahma Muhurat. And during that Brahma Muhurat, there are the vibrations are very pure and positive in the air. However, this is very difficult for people unless living in an ashram, yeah, or by yourself. So, when you set your time for practice, remember that you should not chant for at least 1.5 hours after meals. As you become used to the idea, increase the time of practice. You will become very conscious of time, how you spend it, and perhaps how you waste it as well. Make a practice of writing down everything that you do with the mantras, and you will be able to analyze them. Before beginning to chant, take a bath or at least wash your hands and face and feet. As you wash, think that the impurities of mind are being washed away. You need to put on fresh clothes and think that your soul is being clothed with a new garment of a divine nature. These thoughts will help to uplift you. Put into your mind a clear, commanding thought that your full attention will be given to the chanting for a specific period of time. You can start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and build accordingly. Free the mind of all other things that you're going through with any worries or duties, and be firm, promising yourself that you will deal with them when your period of chanting is over. But they are not to intrude on the time you have set aside to pursue your goal. And choose a quiet spot where you'll not be disturbed, and use it each time facing north or east. Always remember, face north or east. That's quite crucial. Sit on a comfortable chair on the floor with a cushion in an asana, whatever makes it comfortable. There is a subtle power in the thought of straightening the spine, so you must sit up straight. That also suggests straightforwardness, thinking, straight moving with uprightness and strength. If you need to, if you don't have asana, please use a piece of wool, pure silk cloth, or what we call reshmi vastra, or a wool blanket as well. Because this is used traditionally to conserve energy and keep out the vibrations of the earth. When you're doing that, you want to create a magnetism that will be released from the magnetism of the earth. The reason why most of us fall asleep when trying to do mantra is because of one of the reasons is the magnetism of the earth. And therefore, if you have an asana, as prescribed, then it will aid your chanting. And sitting on the floor with left leg over the right in a traditional yogic asana known as Siddhasana or Padmasana in the lotus position or Vajrasana in a kneeling pose. And it can also be Sukhasana. Or you could even sit in a chair with your back straight. The spine must be straight when chanting so that the words can flow freely. A crooked spine is like a broken wire. Sometimes the connection is made, sometimes it is not. And from the yogic point of view, the pranic circuit of the body should be closed by crossing the ankles to maintain the beneficial effects of the mantra. These are just some guidances of, the mantra and how it should be practiced. As you chant, pull the abdominal muscles in, forcing the air out of the lungs. Let the chest widen by itself, not by lifting the shoulders. Use all the breath, all your energy. Put yourself completely into your chanting and breathe through your nose. Either way, the right kind of breathing will naturally begin to take place when you chant. There is no danger. So, to summarize it all, basically, for the mantra practice, you need to have a certain regulation for yourself in order to achieve the benefits of the mantra. The melody of the mantra must never be changed. The combination of sounds is based on the perception of the rishis who translated the etheric vibrations into that particular combination. Example, the Gayatri Mantra. And that creates a magnetic effect in the human being. If you have difficulty in reaching high notes, do not let the ego get in your way. That's a psychological aspect of the mantra shastra. The voice needs training, and with time, patience, and practice, you will get there. That is one of the little miracles. You will find your voice becoming clearer, smoother, and more able to reach notes that you never thought possible. Therefore, it's very, very crucial to practice the mantras with the right combination of, I should say, precautions. Now, mantras and how they affect, the main goals of life. Mantra yoga is a tool for connecting us to the spiritual wisdom and energy of consciousness hidden in the universe as a whole. So when we look at the main goals of life, you can see right at the bottom is the earth. Then we have the calm, then we have dharma, and then we have moksha. This mantra is relevant for everyone, for creating the greater harmony and well-being that we're all seeking, right? There are many different types of mantras, different ways to apply them depending upon our aims and intentions. There are mantras that each one of us can benefit from our own way at any stage or circumstances of life. And that's where this comes in. Earth, Kam, Dharma, and Moksha. These four stages of life, they're very, very important. Obviously, I won't go into the details. This is a whole subject in itself. However, we need mantras for earth, for security. So you can have mantras for that, for Kam, for Dharma, and for Moksha appropriately. So any stage you are at in life, whether you're in the stage of Dharma or in the stage of earth, there are different mantras for all aspects and all stages of life. Geeta Ben, please mute everybody. Thank you. I've changed my slide. But either way, I'm
Shruti, you're muted.
Oh. Okay. Through the right use of mantra, we can restructure our sanskars or karmic patterns. You remember the subject of karma? Changing the types of karma we set in motion so that our lives move in that direction that we could really like them to go. So we use the mantra in the karmic aspect as well to change our karmas, the future karmas or the conditioned present karmas. Yeah. Through mantric sound vibrations, we can align ourselves with higher karmic energy currents that can lift us beyond our personal and collective limitations and open up our deeper potentials, which in the case of every human being are unlimited. Mantra is probably our best tool available for psychological well-being. It allows us to detach ourselves from the outer world and its disturbances, including the conditioning power of the mass media that prevents us from moving within. It's also a way to turn our minds, which sometimes is our worst enemy. We can change it into a friend for our higher self. It also enables us to remove bad habits, addictions, and inertia from our emotions and replace them with a peaceful and content mantric flow. Mantra is probably the most important practice that we can do in life, whether to achieve our goals, yeah, or to better communicate with others and to develop a higher awareness. A conscious life, a life of grace, beauty, sanctity, and peace is best rooted in mantra. Each person should have his or her own prime mantras that they repeat daily for this purpose. In this way, our mantras are among our best friends and an important refuge for us in the face of life's complex challenges. Mantra and the main goals of life are traditionally used according to the Vedic thought in the four categories defined as in the previous slide. Dharma, for one's primary purpose, career, work, vocation. Earth, achievement of necessary goals and objects, including wealth and property, to facilitate one's dharma. Calm, achievement of happiness and fulfillment of desires, including relationship, family, and children that support, express, and expand one's own dharma. And finally, moksha, liberation of the spirit, self-realization, which is the highest of all goals for a human being. And that was in the previous slide. Now we're going to talk about mantras practice and the three gunas. You remember we discussed the gunas in a couple of sessions before now? Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. The mantras that we have, even they fall under these three categories. Sattvic mantras basically elevate you to our higher goals, higher principle of uniting with that one, the universe, the light, the Almighty God. Rajasic mantras enable you to achieve your livelihood goals, as we saw, dharma, part of your dharma and earth mantras fall under the Rajasic categories. Now this Tamasic mantras, Tamasic mantric practice is basically performed for achieving a different kind of energy, and that is substantially harmful for one's being, and you inherit negative karma for that being. However, they do exist. So, in order to do that, we must set in motion forces, take the mind from its disturbed Rajasic or dullness, Tamasic state to its natural clear quality of Sattva. Mantra is the main practice for changing the nature of the mind from tamas and rajas to sattva. So it's also essential that wherever you are in this gunas, whatever stage, in order to progress towards sattva, you need to have appropriate mantras that will elevate the guns, and we can achieve, a higher state of gunas. At the same time, it will also provide us with focus and energy for going beyond the mind. Mantra creates the orientation of the mind necessary for the yams and niyams, the prime yogic observations, attitudes, and lifestyles. So that's, mantras and the three gunas. Now, mantras for different deities, arise from the different mantras associate to different deities. Just a while ago, we discussed about which mantra one is related to, just at the thought of mind. So based on that, we can easily see that every deity literally has a different mantra that they can relate to. And to achieve that deity or the vision of that deity, you need to follow the mantras by worshipping that particular Ishtadev. Yeah. So I'm going to do this.